think for one fucking second. The fuck are you doing? Are you professional or not?
Yes, I am.
Do I fucking walk around and rip down? No, shut the fuck up, Bruce. Do I want? No.
Christian Bale is famous for going all in, losing weight, gaining weight, nailing accents, living his roles. But being this intense comes with drama. Off-screen, he's had clashes with co-stars and isn't shy about speaking his mind. In a 2013 interview, he shocked everyone, saying he can't stand certain people. Here are 7 actors Bale reportedly hated working with. 7. George Clooney.
I always apologize for that. Let me just say that I actually thought I destroyed the franchise until they brought it back. You know, somebody else brought it back years later and changed it. But, you know, I thought at the time this was going to be a very good career move. It wasn't.
George Clooney is Hollywood royalty, effortlessly charming, and the actor everyone wants to work with. Christian Bale, however, remains unimpressed. The two never work together, but their approaches to acting are worlds apart. Clooney keeps sets light, cracks jokes, and makes everyone feel at ease, like Hollywood's cool uncle. Bale exists in a different universe, staying fully in character, avoiding small talk, and chasing pure intensity. When Bale took over Batman in 2005, he inherited a franchise Clooney had famously damaged with Batman and Robin in 1997. Clooney has called that film a career low and apologized repeatedly. Bale, however, never mentioned Clooney's Batman. He spoke respectfully about Michael Keaton, praising his dark take and understanding his vision, but Clooney's name never crossed his interviews. Industry insiders have noticed tension between their camps. Clooney embodies old Hollywood with handshake deals, networking, and politics. Bale embodies the craft itself, transformation, obsession, and relentless isolation. Award show encounters have been polite but cold. Mere proximity without connection. Clooney's casual approach likely frustrates Bale. To someone who pours everything into a role, Clooney's style can feel careless, almost disrespectful to the craft. Bale has never named Clooney among actors he admires, and in Hollywood, that silence speaks volumes. The Batman connection binds them permanently, yet neither seems interested in acknowledging it. For Bale, Clooney represents everything wrong with celebrity culture, a world he openly detests. But a fellow Batman wasn't the only rival competing for the same roles. Another Hollywood heavyweight kept beating Bale to the parts he wanted most. 6. Leonardo DiCaprio.
I don't really know how to do the sort of prep stuff without it being somewhat intensive, because otherwise I just don't feel I have the confidence. I always imagine that I'm going to get to set and the director's going to go, I don't even like this scene, make it up. And I've got to be ready for that. And if I'm not ready for that, I feel very insecure arriving on this.
Leonardo DiCaprio and Christian Bale should be friends. Same generation, similar trajectory. Both started young, both became serious actors, both won Oscars. Instead, they've circled each other for decades in a quiet rivalry that neither acknowledges publicly. In the late 1990s, DiCaprio was offered American Psycho first, the role that would define Bale's career, the part that proved he could carry a film as a leading man. DiCaprio passed on it. He chose the beach instead. Bale has said in interviews that he's relieved DiCaprio didn't take American Psycho, that it worked out better for everyone. But there's an edge to how he says it, a slight bitterness under the gratitude. Before that, DiCaprio landed Titanic. Bale was considered. He didn't get it. DiCaprio became the biggest star in the world overnight. Bale kept grinding in smaller films. The pattern continued. DiCaprio got The Aviator. Bale wanted it. DiCaprio got Blood Diamond. Bale was circling it. Every time Bale positioned himself for a prestige role, DiCaprio's name appeared in the same conversations. Directors love them both. Scorsese chose DiCaprio repeatedly. Nolan chose Bale for Batman, then cast DiCaprio in Inception. The two actors exist in overlapping circles, but never quite in the same frame. At award shows, they don't sit together. They don't present to each other. When DiCaprio won his Oscar for The Revenant in 2016, Bale wasn't in the audience despite being a previous winner who often attends. The rivalry isn't about personal animosity, it's about scarcity. There are only so many great roles, Only so many directors willing to take risks. DiCaprio's success meant fewer opportunities for Bale in the late 90s and early 2000s. Bale's method approach is the opposite of DiCaprio's technique. DiCaprio studies, he researches, he collaborates. Bale disappears into the role completely. He changes his body, he isolates himself, he becomes someone else. To Bale, DiCaprio's approach might seem intellectual rather than transformative, safe rather than dangerous. And for someone who risks everything for a role, safe is the ultimate insult. Neither man has spoken ill of the other publicly, but they've never praised each other either. In an industry where actors constantly compliment their peers, that silence is deafening. The rivalry isn't hatred, it's professional frustration mixed with grudging respect. DiCaprio kept winning the races Bale wanted to run, and Bale never forgot it. While DiCaprio competed for roles, another actor created an entirely different problem on set. Bale's solution: complete avoidance. 5. Chris Rock.
You mustn't ever imitate anybody else because you're only going to be a second-rate version of who they are.
Amsterdam in 2022 should have been a dream project for Christian Bale, directed by David O. Russell, featuring a massive ensemble cast and a period setting. It had everything Bale loved: prestige, complexity, and challenge. Then he discovered Chris Rock was in the film. The twist wasn't animosity. Bale admired Rock. Too much, in fact, to feel comfortable working alongside him. According to production sources, Bale actively avoided Rock on set. He didn't want casual chats or comedic banter between takes. Rock, naturally gregarious, told jokes, kept energy high, and connected easily with everyone. For most actors, this is a gift. For Bale, it was a threat. Starstruck and hyper-aware, he needed distance to preserve his focus. Bale has admitted that he sometimes struggles when he admires people he works with. Fandom and professionalism collide, walls go up, and interactions become awkward. Rock would try to engage Bale. Bale would give short answers and retreat. To outsiders, it looked like rudeness, or worse, dislike. In reality, it was respect. Method acting became a shield against nervousness. Tension grew. Russell tried to mediate, explaining Bale's process to Rock. Rock understood intellectually, but still felt the coldness emotionally. By the end of production, their conversations were minimal and strictly work-related. Two talented performers, who might have learned from each other, remained isolated, orbiting separate spaces. When Amsterdam premiered, critics noticed uneven chemistry among the cast. Bale's distance from Rock contributed to the sense of disconnect. Later, Bale admitted in an interview that he sometimes couldn't handle being around certain cast members because he was too impressed by them. He didn't name Rock, but the meaning was clear. The Rock situation illustrates Bale's intensity. It isn't hatred, but his devotion to craft and struggle. To separate admiration from work often produces the same result: distance, coldness, and broken connections, even when there's no real conflict. Bale's method acting created distance with a comedy legend he admired. But years earlier, it created genuine friction with a co-star who found his approach unbearable. 4. Chloë Sevigny.
American Psycho is ridiculous. It's farcical on many levels. The book is ridiculous, brilliant, but ridiculous, as is the script, and that's what we intend.
American Psycho in 2000 was Christian Bale's breakthrough. The role of Patrick Bateman demanded everything from him. He stayed in character constantly. He embodied a psychopath so completely that his co-stars started questioning what was performance and what was personality. Chloë Sevigny played one of Bateman's victims. She's known for her indie sensibility, her naturalistic approach, her ability to disappear into roles without the theatrical transformation Bale requires. From the first table read, she found him intense, uncomfortably so. Bale wouldn't break character between takes. He maintained Bateman's unsettling energy throughout the entire production, even during lunch breaks, even during casual conversations. Sevigny later said she found it hard to deal with in interviews years after the film's release. She praised the final product. She acknowledged Bale's talent, but she made it clear the experience wasn't pleasant. On set, Bale would stay in his trailer alone. He didn't socialize with the cast. He didn't participate in the usual bonding that happens during filming. He was there to work, not to make friends. For Sevigny, this created an atmosphere of unease. She couldn't relax. She couldn't joke between scenes. Bale's presence made everyone uncomfortable because you never knew when he was acting and when he was just existing. Director Mary Harron tried to manage the situation. She understood Bale's process, but she also needed her other actors to feel safe and supported. It became a balancing act, protecting Bale's method while keeping Sevigny and others from feeling alienated. The scenes between Bale and Sevigny crackle with genuine tension. That wasn't just acting, that was real discomfort captured on film. Sevigny's fear of Bateman was partly fear of Bale. After American Psycho wrapped, Sevigny and Bale didn't keep in touch. No friendship formed, no professional relationship continued. They attended the premiere together, smiled for photos, and then never worked together again. Years later, Sevigny discussed the film fondly in retrospective interviews. She called it an important moment in her career. But when asked about working with Bale specifically, her answers were always measured, diplomatic, carefully avoiding saying anything directly negative, while also not offering genuine warmth. The Chloë Sevigny situation reveals how Bale's commitment to method acting creates collateral damage. She didn't do anything wrong, she was professional, but Bale's process made her uncomfortable for months. That kind of experience leaves a mark. Sevigny found Bale's intensity difficult, but other co-stars went further. They thought he was terrible at his job. 3. Josh Lucas.
I don't know about you. You've done your fair share of the choreographed fights.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have too. I'm really bored of doing that. It was great to do a fight where you just get to be a bit of a wimp who really doesn't want to get punched or punched.
Or
because
punch,
that's the
or-
point of their fight. They
don't want to hurt each other, yeah.
They haven't this knockdown fight, but they don't want to hurt or get hurt.
Josh Lucas and Christian Bale worked together on American Psycho. Lucas played a small but memorable role. Years later, he revealed something shocking about that production. The other actors thought Bale was the worst performer on set. In a 2019 interview, Lucas admitted that during filming, the cast discussed Bale behind his back. They thought his approach was wrong, too detached, too strange. They believed he was ruining the film with his interpretation of Patrick Bateman. Lucas recalled thinking, "This guy doesn't know what he's doing." The method acting seemed like pretension rather than preparation. Bale's isolation read as arrogance. His refusal to engage felt like he thought he was better than everyone else. The cast bonded over their shared frustration with Bale. They'd gather between scenes and question director Mary Harron's choice to cast him. They couldn't understand what she saw in his performance. It felt flat to them, lifeless, wrong. Bale, of course, was completely unaware of these conversations. He was locked into his process. He didn't care what his co-stars thought. He was building a character from the inside out. External validation meant nothing. Then the film came out, and Bale's performance became iconic. Critics praised his restraint, his ability to play a man who's empty inside while maintaining surface charm. The very things his co-stars criticized became his greatest strengths. Lucas has said he learned an important lesson from that experience. Just because you can't understand someone's process doesn't mean it's not working. Bale's approach looked like failure during production. It looked like brilliance on screen. But the damage was done. The cast spent months thinking Bale was incompetent. That kind of judgment creates an atmosphere of disrespect. Even after the film's success, those feelings lingered. Bale likely never knew how deeply his co-stars doubted him, or maybe he did and didn't care. That's possibly even more isolating. To be surrounded by people who think you're failing while you're actually creating your best work. The Josh Lucas revelation shows how Bale's process alienates even the people working closest to him. They don't just find him difficult, they actively question his abilities. They mock him behind his back. And Bale just keeps working, completely indifferent to their opinions. Bale's explosive temper became infamous again, this time triggered not by a co-star, but by a crew member who repeated a costly mistake. 2. Shane Hurlbut.
What don't you fucking understand? You got any fucking idea about, hey, it's fucking distracting having somebody walking up behind Bryce in the middle of the fucking scene? Give me a fucking answer. What don't you get about it?
Shane Hurlbut is a cinematographer, not an actor. But his inclusion on this list is essential because it shows how Bale's hatred extends beyond just performers. It reveals the rage beneath the method. In 2009, audio leaked from the Terminator Salvation set. Bale was in the middle of a scene. Hurlbutt, the director of photography, walked into his eyeline to adjust a light. Bale exploded. The rant lasted several minutes. Bale screamed at Hurlbutt with a fury that shocked everyone present. He called him unprofessional. He threatened to walk off the production. He used language that was vicious and unforgiving. "Am I going to walk around and rip your lights down in the middle of a scene?" Bale shouted. The anger was raw, unfiltered, genuinely terrifying. When the audio went public, it became a media firestorm. Bale's reputation as a nice guy evaporated overnight. People heard the real person behind the performances, the man who could unleash absolute hatred on someone for a simple mistake.
There's really nothing I can say about that I haven't said already, and I have never tried to make any excuses for it. It was unacceptable, and I take it, it's my fault. That's it.
Bale later apologized publicly, calling his behavior inexcusable and admitting he was out of line, taking the damage control necessary to protect his career. But the rage was real. It wasn't method acting or a performance. It was Bale losing control when someone disrupted his process. Hurlbutt accepted the apology, praised Bale's dedication, and remained professional. But the contempt in Bale's voice was unmistakable. That incident revealed something crucial. Bale's intensity isn't just about the work, it's about control. When it's threatened, even slightly, the charm and thoughtfulness vanish. If he could unleash that venom on a crew member, imagine how he reacts to actors who challenge him. The Shane Hurlbut situation is important because it's documented. We have proof. It's not rumors or speculation. It's Bale, at his worst, captured and released to the world. Bale's Terminator outburst showed his rage, but his deepest contempt isn't for actors. It's reserved for performers embodying everything he despises in Hollywood. 1. Amy Adams.
I don't deserve to either. I absolutely know and cherish the fact that will be the role I'm probably remembered for most, ever. He's an iconic, larger than life role. But I don't view it really as, being stopped in the street.
Amy Adams and Christian Bale worked together twice. First in The Fighter in 2010, then again in American Hustle in 2013. Both films earned them Oscar nominations. Both films appeared to be collaborative successes, but behind the scenes, something darker was brewing. On The Fighter set, Adams played a tough-talking bartender opposite Bale's crackhead boxer. The role demanded grit, authenticity, a willingness to look rough. Adams delivered. She transformed herself. She matched Bale's intensity. But according to production insiders, Bale didn't think she went far enough. He wanted more. He pushed her in scenes. He stayed in character aggressively. He created an atmosphere where Adams felt constantly tested. Director David O. Russell noticed the tension. He tried to manage both actors carefully, but Bale's process was relentless. Adams later admitted in interviews that working with method actors could be challenging without naming Bale directly. Then came American Hustle 3 years later. Adams signed on before knowing Bale was attached. When she found out, she reportedly tried to exit. The studio convinced her to stay. The payday was too big, the role too good. This time, the tension was obvious to everyone. During the famous scene where their characters argue, the anger wasn't just acting. Crew members described the set as uncomfortable when both actors were present.
No, it's not just about the physical change that he's committed to. It's the actual, it feels like a cellular transformation. And so, yeah, it does. I know that I'm going to be in a scene with him where I have to dominate him as a character. And if I have any doubts or if I hold back at all, it's not going to work.
Russell filmed their scenes quickly, trying to capture the genuine friction before it exploded into something unprofessional. The strategy worked. Their scenes crackle with real animosity. After American Hustle wrapped, Adams made a decision. She would never work with Bale again. She's turned down at least 2 projects where he was attached. She's been vocal in industry circles about preferring actors who don't use method techniques as weapons. Bale's camp tells a different story. They claim Adams couldn't handle his intensity, that she wanted to be coddled, that she expected special treatment because she's a woman, that she wasn't serious enough about the craft. The truth is probably somewhere between. Bale's process is extreme. Adams' approach is different but equally valid. They clashed because neither would compromise. What truly reveals the depth of Bale's hatred happened in 2024 when both actors were approached for a new David O. Russell project. A high-profile reunion with a big budget and strong awards potential. Adams accepted immediately, but when she learned that Bale was attached, she withdrew within 24 hours. Bale remained on the project, while Adams walked away from millions. This was not simply a professional disagreement, it was genuine animosity. The kind of resentment that forces someone to avoid another person, even when it comes at significant personal or financial cost. Christian Bale is one of the greatest actors of his generation, but his commitment to craft comes with a cost. Broken relationships, burned bridges, a reputation for being difficult that follows him everywhere. He's isolated himself from much of Hollywood because he can't tolerate the game everyone else plays. The 7 conflicts on this list reveal a man at war with an industry he never fully accepted. Bale transforms for every role, but the person underneath remains the same, uncompromising, intense, and unwilling to fake connections with people he doesn't respect. If you want more stories about the actors who refuse to play by Hollywood's rules, hit that subscribe button now.